Welcome back to my enduro bike maintenance series. In this video I'm gonna show you how to check the valve clearance and how to adjust them. So let's put the gloves on and start the action.
Hey guys, it's me in the garage again, and in today's video I'm gonna show you how to do the valves check, the valve clearance check. I'm gonna walk you through the whole procedure, how to measure the gaps, and if necessary how to replace the shims. Hopefully I won't need that because it's a bigger and longer procedure. So why do you need to check the valve clearance, you ask? If the gap is out of spec, the bike might run poorly or start poorly, or even you can hear the rattle sound. In theory, it could even hit the piston and seize the engine itself. So yeah, let's take some tools and start the action. Firstly, what you need to do is remove the seat. It's very easy on Betas, just press the button and that's it. Now let's remove the tank. Now the top bolt. This one is still broken. Didn't fix it, so unplug the pump connector, unplug the gas hose, and we can lift the tank a bit up and then unplug the rest of the stuff. Fuel level indicator, also the breathing hose, map switch connector. Now the tank should be free. To remove the valve cover, we also need to remove the fan, because it's going to be in the way. Disconnect the wire and screw those 4 bolts. The fan is off. So now we can clean everything, because we don't want any dirt to get inside of the engine. And then we're gonna take off the engine bracket and then the cover itself. Clean every surface that you might touch with your hand when you're gonna remove the cover. Remove this top engine bracket and the bottom one. Now we can remove the spark plug cap. And the other side. So okay, now it's time to remove the 4 top bolts. Those 2 are a bit hard to reach, so find the smaller ratchet and screw those as well. This one is a bit special. You need to use a different kind of head to unscrew it. Now just take off the cover itself. Just take it off. I need to remove this one as well. Okay, so what's the procedure? Over here we need to put the engine to the top dead center. All those lines should be in the one level, and the camshaft lobe should be pointing upwards. What's the best way how to move the engine? I don't know. What I do on Betas, just put in the higher gear, for example the 5th or 6th, and punch the wheel little by little, and then the cams are spinning. And go until those 4 lines are lined up perfectly in the horizontal way, and both of the cam lobes are pointing up. Okay, so let's check the gaps. I'm gonna check the exhaust gap first. So the minimum exhaust gap should be 0.125 millimeters. Okay, I'm gonna go with the 0.13. And you have to put the thickness gauge below the cam lobe. Check the gap there. If it goes in, for example, yeah, it is going in, then the minimum gap is okay. Let's check if, for example, 15, 0.15 is going in as well. So let's take the maximum then, 0.2. If it's not going in, then we are not reaching the maximum gap yet. Not going in. Then let's take the 0.18. This one is not also going in, so the gap is 0.17, something like that. So this one is okay. What about the other side? 0.13 is going in. What about 18? Not going in, so it's the same on both sides. Should be about 1.7. And now the intake side. The minimum is 0.1 and maximum is 1.75. So let's take the 0.1. Yeah, so 0.1 is going in. Okay, so 0.18, it's a bit over the maximum, but I don't have the 0.17 here. It seems that 0.18 is not going in, so that's a good sign. 0.13 is not also going in, but the 0.10 is going in, so very easily, so it should be around 0.11 or 0.12, something like that. So I think it's good. We're still in spec. Okay, let's go to the other side. So this one is a bit more tricky because you'll have to put your hand through here and then measure it. So it's a bit harder to reach, but we'll try. So let's start with the 0.1. So it's the minimum gap. Too tight. Okay, let's try 0.08. It's going in. Could it be that you're lucky and I'll need to change the shim? We'll see now. Yep, it's not going in. So the gap is 0.9 probably. And you need this number to calculate what shim you should replace with. And left intake valve gap is too small. It's not fitting into the range anymore, so I'll need to buy a new shim and replace it. So firstly, what I need to do is make sure that the engine is at the top dead center. And now I need to clean and mark sprocket and the chain to make sure that I won't skip the step. So let's clean the surface a bit. Let's mark the chain and the sprocket. If it's oily, the marker won't stick. I like to mark a couple of the lines, later just to check if the lining is correct. You can mark other side as well. Mark random symbols. It's just a prevention not to skip the timing. Okay, and now we can release the chain. You want to unscrew the cap first. It's going to be harder when you're going to take off the whole chain tensioner. Just let's unscrew it a little bit. Okay, now you can unscrew the chain tensioner itself. Just be careful because there are a spring. Don't lose anything. There is a spring in the cylinder and we'll need to reset it later. But for now we can put it away. So now the chain is loose. We can unscrew the bridge itself. There is a specific pattern to tighten the bridge. I'm not sure if there is one for unscrewing. One. Okay, let's release one on the other side. Now another one on this side. Another side again. Okay, so all the bolts are loose. You can take them out. Also, those 3 bolts in the front are a bit longer, so don't mix them with the ones on the other side. The bridge is going out. We need to remove the shaft. Move it out, pull it up. Also, what I like to do is move the bearing a bit, just it would have more room to move. Now we can take off from the chain itself. So try not to skip the teeth. The shaft is out. Also put it somewhere clean. You can inspect the bearings. It looks okay. Don't feel any movement or serious scratches. The shaft is also don't have much of the wear. It's okay. Yeah, you can see the slip over there. When you're gonna put the shaft again, you'll need to make sure that the bearing is against the slip. Now what you need to do is to lift the rocker and take out the current shim. Just lift the rocker and take out the current shim, and you'll need to put the new one in. And do the same for the other side. Take the magnet and take out the current shim. What size shim do you need? So what you need is all shims from the right side, the left side, the measurement tool, a piece of paper, and some kind of pen. Okay, so let's start with the intake left side. So our current situation is 0.09. millimeters, and the spec is between 0.1 and 0.175. So we need something in between, and now it's 0.09. And we need to measure the current shim size. Don't look at the numbers on the shim itself, because it might be thinner than it was before because of the wear. So take your measuring tool and measure the current situation, and it's 1.90. So our current shim is 190. In case we want to increase this size, the gap, we need to put thinner shim. So the next shim size is 1.85, and the difference is going to be 0.05. To this value we need to add the current value, 0.09, and the end result should be 0.14. So as you can see, the new value is going to be between the minimum and maximum, so it's perfect. And yeah, let's do the same for the right side, because it was on the edge of the minimum value. So the gap was 0.11, so this one is 2.04. 2.04, and our next shim size is gonna be 2.00. Yeah, and we're gonna increase the gap by 0.04, and let's add the current value, 0.11. New value is gonna be 0.15. It's also perfect. So we need two new shims, 0.85 and 2.00. So if you want to increase the gap, you have to buy a thinner shim, and if you want to reduce the gap, you have to buy a new bigger shim. So yeah, those are old ones, and I went very fast to the shop and bought a new shims. So this one is 1.85, so it's going to be on the left side. Right side is 2.00. So this one is 2.00. Don't mix it, put the old ones away, and we're gonna install the new ones. So let's start with the left side. Lift the rocker and then put the new shim in the pocket. Not sure if the side matters, but I'll always put the numbers upwards. And do the same for the other side. Make sure that it's sitting correctly. The new shims are in, so it's time to put the camshafts again. Just also worth to mention that there is an O-ring over here, so don't lose it as well. Make sure that the cam lobes are facing upwards as it was before, and also try to align the markings that you made on the sprocket and on the chain, because otherwise you're gonna miss the timing and damage the engine. The chain is on. Now it's time for the bearing. So remember to align the bearing with the lip I showed you before. Okay, so markings are aligned, didn't gent. Also you can put the finger here to put some tension on the chain and check if the sprockets are still in one line. If not, you might have a problem. Also, there's another way, safer way, how to make sure that the engine stays in the top dead center. There's a bolt on the bottom side of the engine, and when the engine is at the top dead center, you can unscrew that bolt, take out the spacer, and screw in the bolt again. This way the crankshaft is gonna be locked, and you won't be risking losing the timing. But it's not the first time for me doing this, so yeah, I'm taking a bigger risk, but this way is faster. If you're doing this thing for the first time, consider locking the engine. So put back all 7 bolts. There is a specific procedure how to tighten them. first round you'll have to tighten them at 5 Newton meters in particular order, and the second time it's going to be 10 Newton meters. It's time to tighten them up. Okay. Put the torque wrench on the 5 Newton meters and tighten this middle bolt first. Then the one on the back, another one. There is one bolt that I'm not able to reach with the torque wrench, so I'm using the old but good method. It's a torque wrench in your head. Just have to feel it. Check how other bolts are tightened and try to tighten this bolt the same. So it's time for this one and this one. All bolts are torqued at 5 Newton meters, and now it's time to torque them to the 10 Newton meters. The order is the same. Now it's time to measure the gaps again and make sure that everything is still in specs. Okay, let's take the 0.18. We need to check if the gaps didn't increase too much. It doesn't fit, at least on this side. Now let's check this side. It's not also going in, so 13 goes in this side, and the 15. So 15 doesn't go in here, so it's 0.14. Let's put 0.13. So yeah, the 0.13 is in, so it means that it is in spec now. Okay, so when everything now is here tightened and the shims replaced and the gaps are okay now, we can put the chain tensioner again, but firstly we need to reset it. So here how the tensioner looks like. There's a plastic cap, cylinder, spring. So yeah, we need to reset it. We need to put the cylinder back from this side. So firstly what we need to do is to remove the cap. That's why I told you before to tighten it, because it'd be harder to do it when you're holding the tensioner in your hand. Sorry for the glove. Looks like a worm. Okay, so remove the cap and put it somewhere clean. And now the goal is to put the cylinder back, the spring, and just put finger on the other hand and push the spring, and you feel when the cylinder is going in, and the cylinder is made like that it can go only one way. So the goal is here, push the cylinder and stop it when the cylinder is should be shut with the surface or 1 millimeter out, something like that. Too much. So if it's too much, you can try it again. Jesus Christ. Okay. Last time. Yeah, so about right. So okay, now we can put the spring back here, and it's time to install it. Just put it in and screw it back in. Now let's torque it to the specs. And the torque specs are 25 Newton meters. It's torqued. Okay, now what you need to do, put the finger inside and push the cylinder as much as you can reach. Don't go crazy here, because the spring and the cap will gonna tension it anyway. So now it's time to put the spring and the cover. Put it in. Now just screw it all the way in. Remember that this gap is 8 Newton meters. Don't go crazy on this one. If the tensioner works, just check if there is no slack on the chain anymore. So that's next. Don't forget to put the gasket over here. There are 2 holes, and you have to take it from the cover and put it here first, because this way you'll be sure that it's in place. Make sure that those knobs were inside the 2 holes over there. Time for the cover itself. Okay, so manual says to put some silicone gasket in the corners, in the 4 corners, and a couple of drops over there. The manual says to put gasket on the cover, but for me it's easier to put the gasket first and then the cover. All the sides are in. So now it's time for the cover bolts. Just put them in by hand right now, and later we're gonna torque them to 8 millimeters. And what I like to do is to put that special bolt, to put it here because it's most accessible place on the top of the engine. If you're not using the torque wrench, just don't go crazy because it should be tight and very light. Now we can put the spark plug cap back. Time for the frame bracket. Just a little bit. So all of them should be 35. Okay, what's next? We need to install and plug in the fan again. And also don't forget to reconnect the fan. You can clean the parts that you touched with your oily end because it will collect dust later. Now let's put on the tank. Reconnect the map switch wire, the fuel line, the gas pump wire. It's on. So yeah, this is how we do the valve clearance check. And at first I thought it's gonna be only the measuring, but life is unpredictable, so yeah, I had to change some of the shims, and now the gaps are all perfect. I cannot run the engine just yet because the silicone gasket is still drying, but I'm sure that everything is okay and the bike is gonna run great. Works perfectly. So I hope you liked it. Yeah, this is not the easiest procedure, but I recommend doing it at least once a season. Please like, comment and subscribe. It's gonna help my channel to grow, and next time I'm gonna do something smaller probably. I need to replace the front wheel bearing. So thanks for watching, have a nice day and see you later.